Does anyone still do ham radio? Is ham radio only for curmudgeonly old cranks? Is ham radio nothing other than a grumpy old men's club? Grumpy old men? Is that all this is? Grumpy old guys wonder, how do we get the youngsters into this hobby? These old hams believe that the young folks just need a taste. Youngsters need to savor the flavor of ham. They just haven't tasted ham. We need to get the youngsters tasting ham. If only the youngsters tried contesting. They would love it. Contesting, contesting, contesting. In ham radio, what is contesting? So, in a few short sentences, what is contesting in ham radio? Contesting in ham radio is a competitive activity where amateur radio operators try to make as many radio contacts as possible within a set time period during a scheduled contest. Operators exchange a short piece of information, called an exchange, often a signal report and location, and log each contact. Points are awarded based on a number of contacts and sometimes the distance or different regions contacted. At the end of the contest, participants submit their logs, and the operators with the highest scores in their category win. Does that sound like fun to you? Allow me to explain ham radio contesting in a way that youngsters can understand. Ham radio contesting is like this. Back before the year 2010, telephone companies used to print something called a phone book. What is a phone book, you might ask? A phone book was a printed directory listing telephone numbers for people and businesses in a specific area. It usually included a white pages section for residential listings and a yellow pages section for businesses organized by category. People used it to look up someone's phone number or find services like plumbers, restaurants, or doctors. Before the internet and smartphones, it was one of the main ways to find contact information. So, just imagine this. Imagine opening up a phone book. Then, you pick random phone numbers of random people and businesses. Once the person you're calling answers the phone, you immediately give them your name and location. You exchange your information. Once you have exchanged your information, you immediately hang up on the person you called. That's right. Once you call a random person or business, you exchange information and then immediately slam the phone down and hang up. Once again, you call a random person in a phone book, exchange info, slam the phone down, and hang up. You end the call. Then you repeat the process and call as many other people as you can within a time limit. The more people you can call and hang up on, the more points you score. The person who calls the most people within a time frame scores points and wins the contest. Does that sound like fun? Does contesting sound like fun? Of course it is fun. You have never tried it. No, I'm not a weirdo. Calling random people and hanging up on them is delightful. You have never tried it. That, my friends, is called contesting. This is what ham radio enthusiasts do. They believe this is a fun and useful activity. Thanks to all of the elderly hams out there. We're all safer in case of a national emergency. Thank goodness we have hams to randomly make contacts with various people around the world. This is providing a great public service. You may criticize that making such contacts during a contest is pointless since you don't have any purpose for actually calling them and relaying any useful information. Well, okay, maybe you are right. I'll get back to you on that one. To add to all of this excitement, you have to buy a really expensive radio and mount a big, beautiful antenna on your property. Your next door neighbors are going to love looking at your nice, gigantic, beautiful antenna, no matter the season. These antennas really are a thing of beauty. They are bold and visible. No one can ignore them. To add to all of this fun, there are a bunch of rules. That's right. Most would agree, lots and lots and lots and lots of rules about radio etiquette are what make ham radio so much fun. You can't just pick up your mic and start talking. Nope. Oh no. That's forbidden. Other hams will politely or not so politely give you a reminder about how there is etiquette in using a ham radio. Here are the rules, more or less. Listen first to be sure the frequency is free before transmitting. Give your call sign at the start, end, and required intervals. Don't talk over others, pause if there is interference. Keep transmissions short and clear. No profanity, music, or broadcasting entertainment. Ask, is the frequency in use? Before joining. Use standard phonetics for clarity. Follow national regulations, e.g., Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada. Be courteous and respectful to other operators. Okay, now doesn't that sound like fun? This isn't CB radio. You can say whatever you want. Now, I know what you keep telling me, ham radio operators are a bunch of grumpy old men who don't like anyone under the age of 73. Well, you're partly correct. I'll be honest. This is what the internet says about hams. Some critics say ham radio has a reputation for being full of grumpy older men who don't like change. The hobby became very popular in the mid-1900s, so many of the people still active today started decades ago. Because of that, a lot of traditions and habits from that time are still strongly defended. To younger people, this can make the hobby feel stuck in the past. Another complaint is that some operators care a lot about rules and procedures. While those rules help keep the airwaves organized, they can feel strict and nitpicky to beginners. If a new operator says something the wrong way or makes a small mistake, they might get corrected sharply. When that happens, it can make the community seem cranky or unwelcoming. Technology also makes ham radio look less appealing to younger people. Today, people can talk to anyone in the world instantly using phones, apps, and the internet. Compared to that, studying for a license, buying radios, and learning about antennas can feel like a lot of work. If the hobby also seems full of serious rule enforcers, it can push people away even more. There is also a difference in what younger tech people enjoy. Many prefer things like coding, robotics, gaming, or online collaboration. Ham radio can sometimes focus on older styles of communication like scheduled voice chats and formal exchanges. To someone used to fast-moving digital technology, that can seem slow or outdated. Because of all this, the stereotype forms that ham radio is run by crusty old operators who complain a lot and guard their traditions. Whether that stereotype is fair or not, it helps explain why many younger people think the hobby is boring or unfriendly. The result is a cycle where fewer young people join, and the average age of operators keeps getting higher. Oh, and the hobby is going to cost a lot of money. And, when you are studying to get your ham radio operator's license, you're going to love the countless hours you spend learning about radio technology. But even more than the technology, you're going to learn about the wonderful rules of radio etiquette, hours and hours and hours of rules about how to talk into a microphone politely. It really is a blast. Well, come on in. Welcome to the ham radio party. It's not as fun as video games or hanging out with your friends, but it's okay, it definitely is a great way to obtain the grandfatherly wisdom about radio etiquette that youngsters aren't even aware they crave. Ham radio is fun. Really? I'm not joking. Ham radio is really, really, really fun. Guy, come on. I'm serious. Don't give me that look. Don't walk away when I am talking to you. Hey. Listen. Ham radio is fun. Once you get past the expense, all the rules, and the old men, ham radio is really fun. You're going to love it.